Look down at the abyss, thousands of meters deep, right at the edge of this wheel. That's not just an abyss. It's a place where every press of the gas is a declaration of war against fate. From the breathtaking turns at the eighth wonder of the world to the moment of driving into the void on a severed bridge in Norway, every rotation of the wheel is a bet you place on your life against the Grim Reaper. This isn't just a drive. It's the kind of intense experience that's etched into the courage of a true driver. Do you have what it takes to conquer the 25 most dangerous roads in the world? Where death is just a hand's breadth from the steering wheel? I believe this is the craziest challenge, far beyond any limit you can imagine. Grip your steering wheel tight. We're starting right now. Rohtang Pass, India. Located in Himachal Pradesh state at an altitude of 3,978 meters, Rohtang Pass isn't just a traffic route, but a true test of survival. Maintained by the Border Roads Organization, BRO, this 51-kilometer road is a strategic lifeline connecting to the remote Ladakh region. The journey to conquer Rohtang is a constant shift between harsh extremes. Deadly hairpin turns appear one after another on a narrow road just wide enough for one vehicle, with an unguarded abyss right next to it. But the most haunting thing is the wrecks of mangled cars scattered at the bottom of the valley, never recovered. In Tibetan, Rohtang means pile of corpses. A chilling name that recalls the countless traders and pilgrims who lost their lives to blizzards. You have to be 200% focused. Because this is the most brutal test of your nerve, where the line between life and death is just one turn of the wheel away. Karakoram Highway, Romania. If you're craving a heart-stopping experience, come to the Făgăraș Mountains in Romania to conquer the Transfăgărășan Highway, a zigzag maze connecting Transylvania and Wallachia. With a maximum altitude of 2,042 meters at Bravest Pass, this 90-kilometer road has a total of 5 tunnels and 831 bridges. Here, the line between exhilaration and the abyss is just a few centimeters of tire away. The danger lies in the unguarded curves, where fog can roll in at any moment. The most impressive thing is that the road passes the ruins of Count Dracula's Poenari Castle. Not only do you have to watch out for falling rocks, but you might also encounter uninvited guests. Those are wild brown bears that often block the road to beg for food. Few people know that this masterpiece was born from a military plan during the Nicolae Ceausescu era, 1970 to 1974. To cut through the mountains, more than 6,000 tons of dynamite were used, at the cost of hundreds of soldiers' lives. Karakoram Highway, Pakistan. People call the Karakoram the 8th wonder of the world, but for thrill seekers, this is a road straight to the abyss. Connecting Pakistan and China, this is the highest paved international road on the planet. At a staggering altitude of 4,693 meters, this 1,300-kilometer road is like a crack clinging precariously to the cliff face, with sections only 3 to 4 meters wide and completely without guardrails. Driving here is like walking on a razor's edge. On one side, boulders are waiting to collapse. On the other, the gaping abyss of the Indus River Gorge. To create this wonder, more than 1,000 workers fell during the 20 long years since 1959. The clearest evidence of nature's ferocity is the brilliant blue Attabad Lake. the aftermath of a horrific 2010 landslide that permanently submerged 22 kilometers of paved road. With its unstable geology and treacherous terrain, the Karakoram is not for the faint of heart. This is a true test of steel nerves for anyone wanting to push their own limits. Black Bear Road, USA. Located in Colorado, USA, Black Bear Pass is the most grueling challenge for brave four-wheel drive vehicles. Originating in the 1880s, this 16-kilometer trail clings to the mountainside at an elevation of 3,914 meters. There are sections just 2.5 meters wide, a tight fit for a Jeep, while right next to it is an abyss over 300 meters deep. The danger peaks at a section called the Steps. It's a series of steep, slippery natural rock ledges made slick by water from Bridal Veil Falls. If during the day, the glare from the Rockies can blind a driver right at the edge of the abyss, at night, the cold and darkness turn this place into a true dead zone. Most notable is the sign at the start of the pass. You don't have to be crazy to drive this road, but it helps. This is an extremely valuable warning for any driver wanting to test themselves on Black Bear Road. Taroko Gorge Road, Taiwan. Deep in Taroko National Park, Taiwan. This road is the most treacherous part of the Central Cross Island Highway. Climbing from sea level to an altitude of over 2,000 meters. The most dangerous section is 19 kilometers long, with the width in many places being less than 4 meters. Drivers are forced to squeeze through natural rock canopies that look ready to collapse. In the early morning, the fog creates a beautiful ink wash painting. But when night falls, the gorge suddenly becomes a pitch-black abyss with the mournful howl of the wind. Few people know this road is a miracle paid for in blood and bone. From 1956 to 1960, more than 5,000 veterans used pickaxes, shovels, and dynamite to tame the stubborn granite, leaving 226 men behind forever. Located on the Pacific Ring of Fire, Taroko constantly faces falling rocks and earthquakes. Every blind curve here is truly a life-or-death gamble for any driver wanting to push their limits. Killer Road, India. On the killer Kishtwar Road, the line between life and death is sometimes a mere 10 centimeters. That's not a metaphor, it's the actual distance between your tire and the 600 meters deep abyss of the Pangi Valley below. Situated at 3,000 meters on the border of Himachal Pradesh and Jammu and Kashmir, this is the most dangerous road on the planet. Killer is 114 kilometers long, but only 2.1 meters wide. Originally a shepherd's trail, this road is now the only lifeline connecting remote villages. The most haunting part is the Devil's Cave, where the cliff juts out like a low-hanging roof next to completely blind curves. It feels like it's waiting to knock trucks into the roaring river below at any moment. Killer is not a place to enjoy the scenery. This is a true test of steel nerves for anyone who dares to challenge death. Atlantic Ocean Road, Norway. A road that's been cut off in the middle of the sky. That's the first feeling you get when you face the Storsisundet Bridge on Norway's Atlantic Ocean Road. Located on the west coast as part of National Road 64, this 8.3-kilometer engineering marvel connects Kristiansund and Molde. It replaced the old ferry route after enduring 12 hurricanes during its construction from 1983 to 1989. The danger comes from waves over 10 meters high, ready to crash directly onto the road's surface, pulling everything down to the ocean floor. But the most haunting feature is the bridge's illogical curve, which creates an optical illusion, tricking you into thinking the road has vanished into thin air. Many drivers have panicked and slammed on the brakes, thinking they were plunging into the void. Combined with extremely strong wind gusts and sea spray that reduces tire grip, Storsy Sundet is truly a place where your courage is challenged. Passage du Gois, France. Imagine a road that performs a disappearing and reappearing magic trick every single day. That's not a myth. It's the reality at Passage du Gois in the Bay of Bourgogne, France. Appearing on military maps since 1701, the name Gois means to walk through water. This unique 4.12-kilometer paved causeway connects the island of Noirmoutier to the mainland. And is only visible for about 3 hours a day at low tide. When the tide rises, the road can be submerged under as much as 4 meters of ocean. The danger here comes from the suffocating time pressure. The seawater doesn't rise slowly. It rushes in faster than a person can run, turning the surrounding area into an open sea. The lonely marker poles are a testament to the unpredictability of the sea gods. To this day, people haven't forgotten the dark legend of the 1999 Tour de France. The slippery road surface caused a massive pileup in the peloton, shattering the championship dreams of many cyclists. Chapman's Peak Drive, South Africa. Chapman's Peak Drive, or Chappies as the locals call it, has long been famous in the travel world as one of South Africa's most spectacular yet challenging roads. Running along the western coast of Cape Town, this 9-kilometer road with 114 consecutive curves is like a deep gash cut into the side of a granite mountain at a height of 593 meters. The danger of chappies comes from its unstable geology. Boulders weighing several tons can come crashing down at any moment, especially after heavy rain. Coupled with strong sea winds and blind curves, drivers must always be on high alert for rock slides. In 1988, businessman Christopher White miraculously survived when his car plunged 100 meters down a cliff. But not everyone is so lucky. The memorial benches along the road are a quiet reminder of those who were lost. A priceless warning for anyone who dares to test their mettle here. $1 Million Highway, USA. Don't look down. That's the unbreakable rule when you venture onto the $1 Million Highway. This haunting 40-kilometer stretch of US Route 550 connects the two old mining towns of Silverton and Ouray. Built by Otto Mears in the 1880s to transport silver ore, this road was born from the intense desire for wealth of 19th century miners. But the name $1 Million doesn't just refer to its economic value. It's also tied to a sarcastic dare. I wouldn't drive that way in the winter if you paid me $1 million. At Red Mountain Pass, at an altitude of 3,358 meters, the most terrifying feature is the complete lack of guardrails right at the cliff's edge. One small mistake means a free fall with no chance for correction. The danger also comes from the 8% grade and unexpected snowstorms, even in the middle of summer. You have to hug the cliff face to avoid oncoming traffic or deal with elk suddenly leaping onto the road. Autopista del Sol, Mexico. Swooping down from an altitude of 2,200 meters to rush straight towards the sea. The Autopista del Sol isn't just a highway. It's a 263-kilometer-long game of risk connecting Mexico City to Acapulco. Inaugurated in 1993, this road was originally intended for the upper class, but hidden behind its modern facade are dangers from loose geology. The ironclad proof was the double whammy in 2013, when two major storms collapsed more than 20 sections of the road, isolating thousands of tourists here. At 263 kilometers long, the highway embraces the Sierra Madre del Sur mountain range with towering viaducts like the Mezcala Solidaridad. However, the real challenges lie in the giant potholes, landslides, and the complex security situation in the state of Guerrero. Visitors here are always reminded of the golden rule: never stop your car in a deserted area. This is a true test of courage for anyone who wants to conquer this treacherous road. Bealach na Ba, Scotland. Reversing your car at the edge of a cliff on a road that's exactly 3 meters wide. That's the final exam Bealach na Ba gives to the most confident drivers. Seen from above, this 18-kilometer road is like a delicate silk ribbon draped over the back of a stone giant in the highlands. In just a short distance, it climbs from sea level to an altitude of 626 meters with grades of up to 20%. The ultimate challenge for any braking system. Created in 1822, based on an old cattle drover's path, this place is full of stories about the curse of the fog. Locals often tell tales of shepherds who vanished mysteriously, or the sound of cowbells echoing off the cliffs on misty moonlit nights. All it takes is for a wild sheep to suddenly appear from behind the curtain of fog, and you'll understand why this place challenges even the most fearless drivers. Changla Pass, India. At an altitude of 5,360 meters, Changla Pass in India isn't just a number, it's the limit of survival. Connecting Leh and Pangongcho Lake, the third highest motorable road in the world, is like a thin thread stretched across a rocky desert. With a brutal 20-kilometer climb, drivers will face a road surface frequently torn up by melting ice. Alongside are muddy, slippery streams, always waiting to swallow your vehicle. At the top of the pass, a small temple dedicated to Changla Baba is a mandatory spiritual stop. Drivers often stop here to pray for safe passage through the hallucinations and terrifying blizzards, where the oxygen level is a mere 50%. The danger of Changla lies in acute mountain sickness. It slows your reflexes, while the icy surface causes your wheels to lose all grip. Remember the deadly warning: do not stop for more than 20 minutes. If you break this rule, your lungs and brain could swell up right in the middle of this harsh, icy prison. Ma Pi Leng Pass, Vietnam. At the top of Vietnam's 4 great mountain passes is Ma Pi Leng, the legendary route on the Happiness Road in Ha Giang. Stretching 20 kilometers at an altitude of 1,200 meters, this place is like a thread dangling halfway up a limestone cliff. The history of Ma Pi Leng is an epic of human strength. The most moving story is of the suicide squad who hung from the cliffs, setting off explosives for 11 solid months, and even held living funerals for themselves before each shift. This turned the road into an immortal symbol of sacrifice. In the Hmong language, the pass's name means horse's nose bridge, describing a slope so terrifying that even a horse would run out of breath climbing it. Here, blind curves hug a deep abyss overlooking the No Key River, where fog can erase the road from sight in seconds. The biggest danger is brake failure from continuous downhill driving. Many sharp turns still have no guardrails at all. Remember, don't let the beauty of Southeast Asia's deepest valley distract you. Karanlik Canyon Road, Turkey. Some roads are built with machines, but some roads are carved by the dreams of 4 generations. That is the Stone Road in Karanlik Canyon, Turkey. This feat was the result of a 132-year battle from 1870 to 2002. The people of Kamalia used hammers to chisel through granite to escape isolation. The story of sweat turned to stone here is incredibly moving. There were families where the grandfather started chipping at the mountain, but it wasn't until the grandchild's generation that they saw the light at the end of the tunnel. This is a system of 38 handmade tunnels through the cliffs of one of the world's deepest canyons. Stretching 7 kilometers, the road is like a man-made labyrinth winding through the mountains, with a width just enough for one vehicle and a low ceiling full of sharp rocks right next to the abyss of the Euphrates River. True to its name, Karanlik, meaning dark, the canyon floor is always gloomy, with the roar of the water echoing off the cliffs. The biggest dangers are falling rocks from the tunnel ceilings and curves at the cliff's edge that demand millimeter precision. One small mistake, and you'll be swallowed by the river below. Gate to Hell, Turkmenistan. In the middle of the Karakoram Desert, there's a place where a fire has never gone out for more than half a century. That is the Darvaza gas crater. The Gate to Hell. This 70-meter wide flaming pit is like the eye of Sauron staring up at the sky. To reach this wonder, you have to drive a 4x4 through a treacherous maze of quicksand, facing heat up to 60 degrees Celsius and a chilling solitude. The biggest challenges are the quicksand terrain, where you can easily get stuck in an area with no cell service and the high concentration of toxic gases. At the unstable edge of the crater, the line between admiring a wonder and falling into hell is just one wrong turn of the wheel. The Gate to Hell was actually created from a technical mistake by Soviet experts in 1971. When a drilling rig collapsed into a pocket of methane gas, they lit it on fire, hoping the gas would burn off in a few weeks. However, the fire has been burning continuously for over 55 years. In 2013, explorer George Kurunis amazed the world when he rappelled down into the crater and found bacteria that could survive right in the heart of the red flames. Guoliang Tunnel Road, China. 12 tons of steel, 4,000 hammers, and 5 long years of bare hands, that was the price to create the legendary road named Guoliang, located in Henan, China. Stretching 1.25 kilometers at an altitude of 1,700 meters, the road is like a jagged scar running across the face of the Taihang Mountains. With a width of just 4 meters and over 30 stone windows looking straight down into an unguarded abyss, this place is an extreme psychological test for any driver. The danger lies in its homemade structure, with blind curves and an unstable ceiling where loose rocks can fall at any time. If you swerve just a few dozen centimeters at one of the stone windows, the abyss will swallow you in an instant. The rough chisel marks on the cliff walls are the signatures written in blood and sweat of those who were determined to change their destiny, creating a tragic and heroic stone corridor in the middle of the mountains. Mackinac Bridge, USA. In the world of bridges, the mighty Mac is a name that makes every driver nervous. Located in the Straits of Mackinac, Michigan, USA, this 8-kilometer-long marvel connects the two peninsulas of the Great Lakes region, looking like the spine of a steel dragon on the water. The scariest part is its 61-meter height, where you have to drive on an open steel grid lane, looking straight through to the swift-flowing water below. This is a tough challenge for anyone with a fear of heights. Opened in 1957, the bridge was built to relieve a major traffic bottleneck, but the danger comes from wind gusts over 48 kilometers per hour, strong enough to shake any vehicle. The most haunting incident was the 1989 accident, when a furious gust of wind lifted Leslie Ann Pluhar's car over the railing, sending it plunging 60 meters into the lake below. The biggest challenges are the dizzying illusion from the grid surface and the slippery black ice in winter. If you're too scared, you can call for a driver assistance service from the Bridge Authority. Hana Highway, Hawaii, on average, every 160 meters, you face either a hairpin turn or a narrow bridge. That is the breathtaking reality on the Hana Highway in Hawaii. Stretching 103 kilometers, the road has an insanely winding route around basalt cliffs. With a record 620 sharp curves and 59 bridges, this is the ultimate test of patience, as it can take up to 5 hours to cross this short distance. The danger of Hana lies in flash floods and sudden landslides, where natural disasters can strike at any moment. The locals even have an unwritten rule of survival called the Hana Nod. They believe that if you don't yield to each other on the one-lane bridges, the spirit of the road will cause your car to break down immediately. During the day, sunlight filtering through waterfalls creates a stunning scene. But when a downpour hits, the road surface can turn into a deadly skating rink. Don't let the natural beauty distract you. Just 1 second of carelessness, and your car could plunge straight into the deep blue sea. Katanga, Congo. Welcome to the Katanga region of Congo, where the route connecting the mining hub of Lubumbashi is considered the most brutal challenge on the planet. The mud pits here, up to 3 meters deep, are big enough to swallow a 10-wheel truck. A journey of just 200 kilometers can take you up to 14 days. Not to mention, the rainy season turns this place into a giant swamp littered with vehicle carcasses. Meanwhile, the dry season attacks you with blinding red dust. The danger doesn't just come from the rotting wooden bridges, but also from gangs of robbers hiding deep in the jungle. In Katanga, you're not just fighting the mud, you're also facing the barrel of a gun and complete physical and mental exhaustion. Formed during the Belgian colonial era in the late 19th century, this road was built with forced labor to mine for diamonds. People still tell stories of drivers who were stuck in the jungle for 3 months, having to set up temporary villages to help each other dig out 1 centimeter of earth at a time. It's a testament to extraordinary human willpower. Trampoline del Diablo, Colombia. People don't name a road the Devil's Trampoline just to scare off faint-hearted tourists. They name it that to warn of a journey with no room for error. Connecting Pasto and Mocoa, Trampoline del Diablo is the most terrifying nightmare in South America and also the only lifeline linking the Amazon region to the outside world. Stretching 70 kilometers at an altitude of 2,800 meters, the road is like a rotting rope hanging precariously on the cliffs of a rainforest. With a dirt and rock surface only 3 meters wide and a 500-meter deep unguarded abyss, drivers have to perform breathtaking reversing maneuvers right at the edge of the death pit. Locals pass down stories of the spirits of the curves and car horns echoing from the abyss on rainy nights. At every sharp turn, small shrines are always lit, like a silent reminder of the presence of death. Dense fog reduces visibility to less than 10 meters, mixing with the sound of waterfalls to create an eerie atmosphere. The danger lies in flash floods that can wash away the road in minutes and over 100 deadly curves that challenge your every reflex. Rohtang Pass, South Africa. If you don't have a true 4x4, turn back before it's too late. That's the warning for anyone who wants to conquer Rohtang Pass, the road connecting KwaZulu-Natal, South Africa, with the Kingdom of Lesotho. stretching 9 kilometers at an altitude of 2,876 meters with grades of up to 33%. Sani Pass is a real game of death, especially on the final 1 kilometer with its hairpin turns right at the edge of an unguarded cliff. Going back in time to 1913, this was originally a pack mule trail. It wasn't until 1948 that former pilot Godfrey Edmonds performed a miracle by driving a rugged jeep up this mountain face. The destination at the end of the journey is the highest pub in Africa, where drivers sip on Maluti beer to calm their still shaking hands after a face-to-face encounter with death. During the day, the fog is enchanting, but when the ice melts, the road surface instantly turns into a slippery mudslide. At night, the sub-zero temperatures and thin air can easily burn out a clutch, making every mistake paid for with your life. Air Highway, Australia. In the middle of Australia's great outback, a straight line isn't a gift, but a curse called the Air Highway. This 1,660-kilometre road connecting South and Western Australia features the world record 90 miles straight. Even though the road is perfectly flat and 10 meters wide, the extreme monotony creates a hypnotic trap, causing drivers' brains to fall into a state of micro-sleep, leading to disastrous rollovers. The danger here is linked to the massive road trains, up to 50 meters long, barreling down the highway at 100 kilometers per hour, which can blow a small car off the road with their wake when passing head-on. Drivers on this route often talk about ghost cars appearing in heat mirages in the midday sun, a terrifying visual distortion. The biggest challenges on the Air Highway are the 45 degrees Celsius heat and the isolation, with gas stations up to 300 kilometers apart. If you give in to drowsiness for just 1 second, the Air Highway will turn your journey into a grim fight for survival. Zoji Pass, India. At Zoji Pass, the treacherous artery connecting Ladakh to the rest of India, the line between a legendary journey and a horrific tragedy sometimes comes down to a single, imprecise turn of the wheel. At an altitude of 3,528 meters, this 9-kilometer stretch of pass is like a suspended gash in the mountainside. With a narrow, unpaved surface, no guardrails, and U-shaped turns on slippery mud, Zoji is hair-raising, with a direct view down an abyss thousands of meters deep. The danger lies in perpetual rock slides and snow cover up to 20 meters thick. Drivers have to face extreme psychological pressure as they hug the cliff edge to let oncoming traffic pass, all while dealing with a severe lack of oxygen. This isn't just a road, it's one of the world's greatest tests of mettle. A hard-earned piece of advice for you: let a local drive, because Zoji will not forgive any amateur driver. RN5, Madagascar, RN5 is the coastal road in northeastern Madagascar, connecting Maroantsetra and Soanyarana Ivongo. Stretching 200 kilometers, it's often compared to an earth dragon writhing in endless rain. Due to the chaos of mud, boulders, and quicksand, even traveling with a specialized 4x4 can take several days. Formed during the French colonial era to transport vanilla, RN5 is associated with its ferries of faith. These are rickety wooden planks, pulled by hand to get multi-ton vehicles across raging rivers. The danger lies in the extremely damaged road surface and the high tides that can swallow vehicles driving too close to the sea. Out here, rescue is a luxury. You can only rely completely on your own survival skills. Remember not to go without a mechanic. Because if your vehicle's engine unfortunately breaks down in the middle of the jungle, the price you pay is walking for tens of kilometers through the deserted wilderness. From sheer cliffs to a gate to hell in the middle of the desert, each road is not just a challenge for the engine, but also a test of human grit. Is the stunning beauty worth risking your life for? Of the 25 places we've just visited, which road made your heart stop the most? Leave a comment below.